podcast in which one man strives to level up his geekhood and helping you do the same, one battle at a time. Now, let's get geeky with Gamer Leaf.
Welcome to Getting Geeky with Gamer Leaf. Today we have on some special guests. We have Chris, Charlie, and Lucas, who have a new game on Kickstarter. They're the masterminds behind Hermetica, which just launched. I believe we're launching this on Wednesday, and so I believe they just launched their game Hermetica yesterday, the 9th of January. Is that correct? That's how you guys fall in line? Are you the masterminds behind this game?
Yep, definitely. The three of us are the creators of Hermetica, and we are definitely launching on January 9th.
Okay, cool beans. So let's see. So let's rewind a little bit and go back to the beginning. Well, not too far to the beginning, but unless you guys were kind of born into board games and just went from the beginning. But otherwise, how did you guys get started in tabletop board gaming?
Sure. Well, this is the first board game I've ever created, although I have, throughout my whole life, loved board games and played many and, had fun making up my own sort of games growing up with drawings and things of that nature. But the real professional way, this is probably the first one with Chris and Charlie. Chris and I had worked previously on trying to make a digital game, but this is the first one.
Okay, how did you get into playing board games? Or were you just born that way, Lucas?
I guess with I grew up with my brother, so we would play board games. Risk in particularly, I guess. Risk and Monopoly is where I started, but I kind of grew up from there. Played card games. And then got really into board games. Just past 4 or 5 years, been really getting into them.
So, do you have a strategy you'd care to divulge for us here on how you win Risk? Do you have a specific strategy, or do you still play that?
I haven't played Risk in forever. Risk, yeah, that's a tough one. Yeah, I don't know if I have a strategy for Risk anymore. Hermetica, I've been playing that a while now, so been trying to get my strategies up to beat Charlie. Just can't seem to do it.
Well, there you go. So maybe you've been playing board games longer, Charlie. How did you get into it?
Well, I guess kind of started with I had two brothers and my dad, and we go camping or at the beach or whatever else. It'd be something to do with the family. But I guess it really kind of took into its own when I started playing Magic after college. Got big into that one until I discovered Netrunner, which was superior game in my mind. Sort of went with that one, and I don't know, board gaming's always been that thing that when you got some time to kill and some brews and some friends, it's the way to do it.
Well, there you go. Cool. So Netrunner took over for Magic for you?
Yep, Netrunner kind of got that one out of my system.
I don't know if I've played that yet. I know my wife and son, I think they like that one.
Yep, probably for good reason. Highly recommend it.
Yeah, it looks pretty good, but I don't know if I've gotten to the table yet. And then what about yourself, Chris? Were you born into board games, or how did you get into them?
I was not born into board games, I wish. But I guess I started off playing chess when I was a kid, 7 or 8. Elementary, middle school, was in chess club. Always had an excuse to get one of those days away from class to just be at a chess tournament. It was always, the one day out of the year I was looking forward to, just to play games all day. And then from there it just, evolved. So like Charlie, I guess I got into the Magic Gathering craze back in the day. And then soon it just consumed my wallet, and I realized I didn't care enough to keep spending to play. And then from there, I've just been playing a lot of other games, all different genres, branching out from Euro games to social deduction to party games like Telestrations or other more modern games recently from Kickstarter.
That sounds good. So besides Hermetica, because if I let you guys pick that, I might be run out into the street and hung. But Chris, let's start with you and go up. What do you have a favorite game besides Hermetica at the time?
I'd probably go with the first one, chess. That's my first game I played. Really like it. Our game Hermetica is kind of have a lot of inspirations from chess and the mechanics behind it, and I really like the idea of perfect information as compared to luck and chance, because every time I play with my fiance, she always somehow manages to get lucky and beat me.
At chess or other games?
Other games like, Settlers of Catan, always getting the right dice roll, or, Cards Against Humanity, getting that right card, or, it can go on for anything for deck builders like Ascension or Dominion or something like that. So, it's, I guess the luck of the draw for me is a little crazy.
Who did win that Catan game last night, Chris?
Yeah, I guess I did. Yep. One of the few rare occasions. Usually everyone gangs up on me because I'm the threat.
Except when it comes to rolling dice, it sounds like.
I always go for the sheep. Double sheep, triple sheep. Can't go wrong.
Well, there you go. He just revealed his, what is that, your Settlers of Catan strategy?
Yeah, or, probability, I guess. Always go for the 6s or 4s or 8s. More chance to roll that dice number.
So what about yourself, Charlie? Do you have a favorite game besides Hermetica at the time?
I might go with Doomtown. Big thing is it never really had the community that I wished it had, so I never got as many games in as I wanted, so it's always that lost idea. But yeah, as far as games go, it's something that I think it had a little bit of everything you ever need in a game.
And what kind of game is that? I haven't heard of that one.
Yeah, it's similar kind of concept to Magic and Netrunner. You build your deck, but it's Fantasy Flight living card game. So sort of imagine you're building your Magic deck, but instead there's each player is playing their own side of an old town western, and so you're slowly building up your town. And you've got different cards or different shooters or weapons or spells or that kind of thing. You can equip your characters as they move from one card to another. So it's a lot of map control, a lot of like bluffing and stuff. But the combat comes down to trying to hit poker hands, drawing cards out of your deck. And so getting those lucky poker hands is actually built into the deck structure. Like you're trying to build for full houses or 4 of a kind. So it takes the luck mechanic, but you have to build your own luck.
Okay, yeah, I was going to ask, because with Doomtown, it does sound like a Western, so that's cool.
Yeah.
And what about yourself, Lucas? What's your favorite game besides Hermetica at the time?
Well, I've been playing with my fiance Near and Far a lot. We really like that game. It's another Kickstarter game that just came out recently, actually as kind of a growth from the original game, which is Above and Below. But it's called I think an Atlas board game where there's different maps and you can play through each map. I think there's 10 total, and each one of them offers like a different experience, and your goal is to kind of take your character through this world and build up your character's resources to buy items and to get like settlements and things of that nature. And at the end of the round, once you get points for all the things you've collected, and that basically is that's the general.
Okay, so do you win or do your fiance win?
It's about even split on that.
Well, there you go. You guessed it. It's time for Kickstarter Corner. We've got a couple great ones that just launched or are about to launch in this week's episode. So, have you heard of 42 Days, The Journey Out of Homelessness? 42 Days, The Journey Out of Homelessness is an educational board game where players can experience what it is like to be homeless. This one has 36 days to go, and this project will be funded if it reaches its goal by the 15th of February. It's Kyle's first project. It looks pretty fun, and yeah, check it out. He's been working and doing a lot of research for this and whatnot, so yeah, check it out. He's got some good goals and whatnot, so yeah, try to see if you can get this cool game. Bring it home to your collection or help Kyle make this great game. It's got $26,000 to go to his goal. It's got 427 reached out of that goal. Check it out on the Kickstarters. And then next we have, well, you already heard about it, but Hermetica. We're going to talk about that shortly. So wait. And then we've got Kung Pao Chicken, a secret identity game. It's a zany party game that will keep the whole family guessing and laughing. And this has gone over its goal. Right now they have about 7 or 8 days left to go. They're at 1,840 out of $1,000. I did a video for it. Check it out on the YouTubes. I'll make sure I leave a link for it. And also don't forget that Tay Woo is doing a giveaway, and that goes as long as the Kickstarter does, which they both go through Thursday, January 18th on the Kickstarters. And then if you go back and listen to my episode with him, I talk about the giveaway. Links will be in the show notes as usual. But this is a fun, zany game. I love it, as does the Unfiltered Gamer. He commented on my video. So check it out on the Kickstarters. And then Ed Jowett of Shades of Vengeance has, join us, add your superhuman to a new universe. Make 100. You want to make your own character? Or you ever wanted to make your own superhero? Now is your chance in this anthology of short stories. Add your own character, hero, or villain to the universe. They are doing wildly excellent. They have $407 goal, and they've already got $2,068 pledged to this. It's got 11 days to go. It ends on the 21st of January. Check it out on the Kickstarters. But if you click my link, that will show Ed Jowett that we're doing what we can here on the Kickstarter Corner, that you heard it here first on Getting Geeky with Game Relief. Next, we have Warriors of Jogu, Feint by Monsoon Publishing. Hopefully I didn't slaughter that. But in this one, you outweigh your opponent in this tactical card game of bluffing and deduction. Their goal, they're trying to go for $8,000. And this looks like a really fun game. I love the art on the box. It's by Chen, who is a designer. And yeah, it hasn't launched yet, but I wanted to tell you about it first. So yeah, and Man versus Meeple will have a video coming soon. Tantrum House already has a video. And yeah, check it out. Also, Board, Deck, and Dice, I guess it is. They've got a Kickstarter preview. And there's a designer diary by somebody or whatnot. Yeah, check it out. But it launches next week. Let me tell you the exact date on that. This one will launch, exactly to tell you, is going to launch on the 16th, I believe. Let me double check. You don't want to be misinformed, do you? Well, anyways, yes, it launches on the 16th of January. Yes, launches the 16th of January. And it's going for about 30 days, so that's exciting. Check it out on the Kickstarters. And then next, what do we have next? Well, we're about to tell you. You know how it works on Getting Geeky with Game Relief.
Sure.
Oh, they just have some great art, great cards. Yeah, check it out on the Kickstarter. It'll tell you what's in the box at the bottom. And if Tantrum House has good things to say, you know it's probably a good game. Last but not least, we have Dwarfs Winner. That's DWAR 7S. The 7's supposed to look like an F. And it's a hand-building, worker placement, resource management game with tower defense elements for 1 to 4 players. They've really surpassed their goal. They're going for $15,000, and it's at $63,597. Check it out. The minis are cool. It's like you got the 7 dwarfs, and this is the second game in their 4-game series. We did an interview with them. You can check it out as well. And yeah, back it on the Kickstarter. Tell them Getting Geeky with Game Relief sent you. And then we wanted to go ahead and give a shout out to our great people over in our network. Ryan Kamek, who is the giveaway geek, he's doing a giveaway of Dwarfs Winner, as well as Helena for Board Game News. She does a lot of great things over there. And Joshua Burrell, who is also Logan Chops. He did a video just recently of Infinity's Defiance of Fate. I started watching it. Check it out. That's going to be coming to Kickstarter Corner shortly as well. But check it out there, and we hope to hear from you soon. Y'all have a great day now. And back to the episode. Thank you for listening, and I hope you'll enjoy the rest of the interview. Thank you all. So the word on the street is you guys have a new game on Kickstarter, Hermetica, the board game or whatnot. What can you guys tell us about that?
It's cool if I go with this one, guys. start off?
Take it away, Chris.
All right, cool. So Hermetica, we've been, working on this game for the past 2.5 years now. It kind of started out when Lucas and Charlie we were all playing games together one day, and he was trying to show me a new game that had a lot of different components, like, rulers, dice. I won't say what game it is because I wasn't really a big fan of it. But there was a lot of complexity to it. It was a tabletop game, miniature, and I felt like the learning curve of it was like going to take a whole half day of just reading a manual. So at that point, I was like, I just want to create like a simple game with a lot of depth to it. What do you guys think? Are you in? What do you want to try out creating your own game and seeing how that goes? And they jumped on board, and we kind of thought of creating a chess-like game that has a little bit of more modern mechanics, a little bit different, that's more spatial awareness and tactical. So that's where Hermetica came into play. The walls is a big component of our game. I think that's what really differentiates us, is that it has a lot of versatility in each game that can be set up differently from the last, as well as having 3 actions per turn. That's probably our other core mechanic that allows each player to make 3 different moves within a turn to dynamically adapt to your opponent's approach and counter them. So in chess, usually I make a move, you make a move, go back and forth. In our game, Hermetica, you have the opportunity of interacting with your own pieces to achieve an overarching goal that one piece normally wouldn't be able to do by itself. And all 3 of us were working on this game for the past, year and a half. We've been through about 5 or 6 different iterations of it, changing the size of the board, to what materials we're going to use, to how the pieces move, to the win condition, to even what we're calling it, Hermetica. So we've each dabbled in all the different kind of like fields of the game. And, Charlie, he's a web developer, so he made the website that actually everyone can go to right now on hermeticathegame.com and play for free. And Lucas is really good at art and design and branding, so everything that you see and feel about Hermetica, you can thank him for his creativity. And for me, I'm just kind of like the jack of all trades kind of guy who is helping out with the business side, with the social media, with the game design, and everything else that needs to be done to create a game.
Okay. Well, that's pretty cool. And you talked about one of the things during playtest and whatnot was coming up with you had changed the name and whatnot. How did you come up with the name Hermetica?
Is that cool if I go with this one, guys?
Yeah, we can jump in. Yeah.
All right. The name Hermetica. So we came up with the name Hermetica because we wanted to have a feel to the game that has some type of alchemy and element to it. We knew from the get-go that we wanted earth, fire, water as our pieces that are kind of correlated to like a bishop, rook, and knight in chess, and a king piece or an alchemist. So Hermetica is actually a wisdom Greek and Egyptian text, and it's pretty much kind of based off the idea of Hermes from Hermetica, so the Greek god Hermes and the Egyptian god Thoth. And it's kind of like a philosophy of these gods that guide people to the afterlife or the souls. That's kind of their roles. And in our game, to win, you have to take your king piece or the adept, the alchemist, and go onto the opponent's horizon or their base. So they're kind of like going into a different plane of existence or some other type of world, so to speak. And we kind of have that kind of correlation with that.
Okay, interesting. So were there other iterations of the name, or that one just stuck?
I think
A lot.
yeah, a lot.
We must have tried at least every word that is just a word that would make a board game. Except when you Google search that one word, it's been taken. So we tried another one word, and a third, and a fourth.
Well, there you go, and Hermetica stuck.
But I like where we landed.
Yeah, it had some kind of interesting pull to it. That's a word that kind of rolled off the tongue, and it wasn't like too. We felt it was unique enough, and that it related to the stories that Chris just described, and connected to kind of the core mechanic of our game of crossing over and eclipsing. So it felt nice.
Cool. And when you talk about crossing over, and from what I briefly saw or whatnot, it kind of, in a sense, I know it's a little bit it's deeper than that, but kind of reminds me a little bit of Chinese checkers in a sense, maybe.
For sure. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people have said that Hermetica has a feel of Chinese checkers. So, it's a hexagonal type of game, and you're trying to get into the opponent's side of the base. So it definitely has a lot of similarities to that.
Okay. Now, a little while ago, I saw Michael from Unfiltered Gamer. They did a live playthrough of it. I watched a little bit of that. So from what I understand, you don't start with all the pieces on the board at the same time, and you kind of they can be brought on the board, or you get all the pieces on the board at the same time, or how does that go?
Yeah. So basically, you start the game. Eventually, with 3 pieces, it'll be decided the first player of the sun piece will place their first piece, and then the next player will counter with their selection until you have 3 pieces selected each, starting at the back of your board. And that's your starting army. And from there, you have all the questions to answer. You can decide that you're going to start rushing, and maybe you're not going to bother responding any new pieces. You're just going to move what you got up the board, or you could hang back and build your army up and use 2 of your 3 actions to spawn a new one, and that would start back in your base, so you can build up your army and progress up the board that way. So really, it's just another choice you have to make in the game.
Okay, and you talked about building an army. From what I watched, you're moving a specific piece from one side of the board to the other to win. Is that correct?
Right. Your main piece, the Adept, is backed up by his 4 elements, his 3 elements, fire, earth, and water. But yeah, basically the elements are more or less expendable as long as you get your Adept across the board.
Okay, and what kind of mechanics are there? Is there like a battling mechanic so you can take out the other guy, or how does that work?
Yeah, so for that, it's more spatial, tactical. So all the pieces interact with the board in a way kind of similar to the walls. So the hexagons in the game are walls. They're barriers, so you can have your game set up differently from the last. For instance, Earth, it's a piece of that can push, so it's a pusher. And the way it captures other units is by pushing another element or the Adept into a wall. The water piece, similarly, can capture another piece by using a wall. And the way water moves, it moves in a straight line, and it has to keep going until it collides into something. It's kind of like Juggernaut, he's got that momentum in X-Men, he just keeps going and he's impenetrable. Once he hits something, he gets to relocate it around himself. So if water collides with another wall, he can drop that wall onto another piece and crush him. So just to say, like, the mechanics of the game are very spatial awareness. It's very tactical. So there's a lot of synergy going on where you want to use your pieces to work together. And they generally all interact with other walls or other pieces to kind of work together.
Okay. Now, I haven't been too much for chess. I know how to play or whatnot, but I'm more of a checkers fan, and where I'm playing like to look 3 or 4 moves ahead or whatnot. Is that similar in Hermetica?
I can give you my opinion, and then you can give your opinion, I guess, Charlie. For me, I think it's more of a dance. So I counter what your opponent does, and your opponent should counter what I do. So I personally don't like to think 3 or 4 moves ahead. That's just setting yourself up for failure, because your opponent can see that coming and adapt and change. So the name of the game is adaptation for me. So never go more than 1 turn thinking ahead.
Yeah, I would propose, because this game comes with so many permutations on any given turn, with 3 actions and 3 pieces all moving differently, all able to move each other around the board, the choices are so big that, like, picking the optimal path, or this move and then next turn that, and then 3 turns down, everything will be like this, is impossible, basically. So what it comes down to is, instead you're trying to optimize basically what you have in any given moment, or what's my opponent doing and how do I need to be prepared for that on my turn. So maybe you're looking at your opponent's turn, what he's doing, but any farther than that is a fool's errand, which is kind of what endears me to the game.
Yeah, there's one other part to it too. It is you can't think too far ahead because of how quickly that it changes, and there's things that you just don't see that it's just so surprising. But you do have to you can set yourself up for success by combining the elements together and keeping them close. So the more combinations occur, the more type of elements you have around each other. And that's kind of the fun of the game, is kind of putting yourself in position to be able to react to any kind of scenario.
Right. Yeah, you're engineering the scenario before it comes to you.
Yes.
And that's, plus it sort of opens up that meta game. But yeah.
I really enjoy doing that when playing the game, and it's really part of the fun for me too is being so surprised at, like, I think I'm in a good position to attack Charlie, for example. I got my water set up and he's moving his pieces forward, and then he just like flips his fire around with the water and is able to shoot one of my pieces that I thought I was safe. And you just never know with this game. It's so hard to see all the combinations that can occur.
So there's a lot of different combinations and whatnot. So who holds the championship amongst you guys?
I think he said who owns the championship title, or like the title, which is obviously me.
Okay, so it looks like we're all back now. So Lucas claimed the title. Is that correct? He's the champion of the game so far amongst you three.
Yeah, no.
I guess you got to speak up when everybody else disappears. Who's got the title then?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have the title right now.
I might disagree with that a little bit.
Yeah, I was having a joke there. I think it's I don't know, Chris, Charlie. What do you guys think? Who has the champion?
Oh, I don't think we're all going to come to an agreement on that. We can self-nominate each other and leave it at that as a three-way tie.
Cool beans. So let's see here. What the inspiration was mainly it sounds like the inspiration of this game was a chess, and then like games being too difficult to learn. Is that correct? If I understood what you guys were saying?
Well, I think we all just wanted to create a game. We all have a huge passion for gaming. I've been playing games as far as I can remember since I got like the Sega Game Gear back in the day. But either way, we all are huge gamers. I feel like we've play all the time. We hang out. It's just a great way to connect and network with other people. An excuse to hang out, and more importantly, sometimes we get a little competitive natured, and we just want to, battle our wits.
Cool. There you go. So, do other people battle their wits online? I know we talked about Michael Wright, the Unfiltered gamer, did a playthrough. Any other notable YouTubers or reviewers on this game that people can check out so they don't have to take you guys' word for it?
Yeah, as far as video reviews go, yeah, Mike would be the one guy we got at the moment.
Okay. Is there any other reviewers reviewing it, or?
We've had other game designers look at our game. We have Mike Fitzgerald. He is a game designer from the local area we're living in, Colorado and Denver. We've showed this other games to a lot of other people. I think Charlie was talking to Todd, who is a national chess master. And from that, we've had conversations and showings and demos of the game to other, experienced industry veterans of either designing games, playing games professionally, or publishing.
Okay, and it looks like maybe won some type of award, I want to say.
Yes, DreamHack. So we did submit our game entry to DreamHack. They had an indie playground there where I think they selected 5 different board games, different types of genres, it seemed like, to have a booth at the convention that was in Denver. So that was our pretty much first public appearance, first time being at an expo from an exhibitor standpoint. So it was a great time. We networked a lot of different people, and we learned a lot. So it kind of just gave us a good insight about how our game is perceived against the market and other people who love gaming.
So you ended up winning, or you got the best? What was the award you guys got from them?
We received Best Tabletop for Indie Playground for DreamHack Denver 2017.
Cool, congratulations.
Thank you.
No problem. What games were you up against? Was there a couple other games that you remember that were in the running?
So the way I think it is perceived is that the submission or application process was the judging, and we were selected amongst 5 other board games as well as the best tabletop. So when they say best tabletop, I think they mean we, out of all 5 games selected, are considered the best tabletop at DreamHack. So there was no real runoff competition between, out of us 5, who was the best. I think we were all just recognized for having good game design and some type of good presence in the gaming community.
Okay, well that's pretty cool. And now it looks like you're trying to bring it to the masses, so more than just Michael Wright and the people there in Denver or whoever you've been playing testing with can play it. What is this going to put somebody back so they can go ahead and get your game?
So we will be launching on January 9th. There will be a early bird special for the first 24 hours. Then the standard pledge will be for $40, and then there would be shipping costs incurred on top of that depending on where you live.
Okay, cool. That's pretty cool. So $40, and it looks like you might be able to get 2 copies if you want to get 2 copies for $78 or more.
Yes, so we are offering a ×2 copy. Those are probably going to be more appealing towards international shipments. So since we're located in the U.S., shipping costs will be the cheapest here, but people in the EU or anywhere else in the world, if they want to, choose that pledge option and go in with another friend of theirs, we highly recommend going that route because the shipping cost is less for getting 2 than having 2 separate transactions.
Well, that's a pretty good idea. I don't know if I've heard of people doing that.
And of course, if you're doing it correctly, you get 2 of those early bird specials. So you're doing that first day, January 9th, 24-hour window.
There you go. That's pretty cool. And let's see here. And it looks like you have some pretty cool different goals, stretch goals, besides just the normal, let's reach such and such, financial goals. What can you tell us about the different kind of stretch goals you have on there?
Sure. Yeah. So we have, as you said, the standard monetary stretch goals. Those will be more correlated to the actual physical product, so we can have better quality products like stitched edges on the board mat or a additional travel case bag. So if you don't want to bring the box out with you when you're traveling, you can just get like a little drawstring bag that you can put the board mat and the pieces in on the go. The other categories are social media goals. So those stretch goals will be correlated to online puzzles. So on our website, hermetica.game.com, you can go online, challenge other people to play, or you can also go and try to solve some of the puzzles. They're very similar to chess puzzles where you want to get a checkmate in 1 turn, or, in our scenario, we have 3 different types. Either capturing the opponent's adept, winning the game by getting your adept into the horizon, or capturing multiple pieces in a single turn. Additionally, we have translation goals. So if we get a lot of international presence by having backers in different countries, like if we get 100 German backers from Germany or other German-speaking countries, then we'll do translations in German. Same thing for Spanish and French. And lastly, we have our backer goals, which is just based off of the number of people who back this campaign. So those are correlated to online features as well. We have things down the pipeline like friends list, email turn-based games, spectator mode, and even AI, artificial intelligence.
There you go. Cool. That's pretty cool. And I want to say, I know you talked about the mat just briefly or whatnot, but when I was talking to Michael Wright a couple weeks back ago on the podcast, he was raving about the mat. He really liked it. What can you tell us about the mat?
Yeah, I mean, it's a standard neoprene mat, so it's kind of like a mouse pad, but really big. 15 by 15 inches with our logo on there, very clean. Having the mat with stitched edges, if we reach that stretch goal, will help prevent fraying or increase the durability of the mat, so it's not really curled up or tearing apart.
Okay, and it sounds like it fits pretty nicely into the box too, from what he said.
Yeah, so we specifically designed the box to fit for that board mat. We wanted to make sure every single hexagon on that board mat was about 1 inch. And because of that, we have to make our box a little bit longer than standard size. So we made sure it has a nice fit, snug feel in the box in there. So it's not too loose, but also it's just, feels good.
Okay, that's pretty cool. And so you get the pieces as well as the mat and whatnot.
Yep, so the standard core box set will give you the mat, all the game pieces that are epoxy resin that are poured on a little piece of metal on both sides. So it has a nice smooth feel when you push your finger on one of the pieces on our board mat, along with 12 walls, 2 shields, which are wooden hexagon pieces that are colored and stenciled. 5 quick reference cards that kind of give a quick summary review of how each piece moves and interacts, and the rule book. I think that's it.
Also, a little bag to put your pieces in.
Oh yes, a little fabric bag to put all your pieces in as well.
Well, there you go. Yeah, you can't forget the baggie. That's cool. So, per se, somebody's fallen asleep, it wouldn't, and they missed what we were talking about. It wouldn't be because of you guys or your game. It'd probably be because of the podcast. We started back in May last year, and by the end of the year, we had 100 episodes out. So they're to get tired of my voice sometimes. So, but now they're suddenly jolted away, so they don't hit that oncoming traffic, and you've got their full attention. Why should they take a chance on Hermetica, the game, especially with all those great games out there on Kickstarter currently?
Sure. I feel like we differentiate from a lot of other Kickstarters by being a 2-player game exclusively. We don't really recommend this game being more than 2, and I definitely feel like there's a market out there for people who are looking for just well-rounded 2-player games. Also, another thing is that we are being very proactive with our customer service. This is our first Kickstarter. We want to make sure we have a good presence in the gaming community. We love games. We don't want to really add insult to injury to that. We want to add value to the overall gaming community. So we will do our best to listen to everyone's comments. We're all avid gamers, so we've backed many Kickstarters, and we definitely enjoy influencing or kind of help guide the success of games that we love. Charlie, Lucas, you guys want to add anything to that?
Yeah, I think that our game particularly is interesting too because of how many variations that you can have. Each piece the variation of how many combinations that you can have with each piece, and then how the walls are set up, just make it limitless basically. And it's really fun. It makes you come back and play again and again, and not feel like it's the same thing over and over again.
So a lot of replayability, it sounds like.
Yes, a lot of replayability and a lot of building strategy that over time gets more and more connection and synergy with the pieces, and it's just addicting.
Well, there you go. What about yourself, Charlie?
Yeah, it's a game I love. I mean, yeah, it's a game I love, and I want other people to love it too, so that I can always find a game, basically. I want to be sitting around in my bathrobe at 2 a.m, hop online, find someone else who's also looking for the game, so we can get something done.
Okay, and is there a way to? I know you said we can play it for free online. Is there a way? Is there a link on your Kickstarter on where they can go and check it out as well?
Yes, we are working on that right now. That's one of the final few details that we are working on our campaign. We will have a button or image that everyone can click on the campaign that will redirect them or open into a new tab of our website on hermeticagame.com/play, at which point you can sign in as a guest or you can create an account. Both are free. And we have ELO for ranking, as well as puzzles, invitations for custom games, and even a sandbox mode where you can just play around and get a feel for how the game works and plays. And it's impossible to make an illegal move, so it's a great way to figure out how everything works and interacts with each other.
Okay, and are you waiting for challenges on there, or are you doing it by yourself, or how does that work?
Well, we have there's a matchmaking system where you're able to select a game type and queue up, and it'll automatically match you with other people similar skills or looking for the same kind of game. There's one way you can do it. There's an invite feature where you can just click on someone's name. You're able to pick what kind of setup of the board you want, time limits, who's starting as what, that kind of deal. So you can either do it by invite or by matching up. And like Chris said, there's also solo play on there for walkthroughs and puzzles and the like. So something to keep people busy.
Okay, and is that available just on desktop, or can people do that on a mobile application, or how does that work?
It's a fully responsive website, so it should size to any screen. It works I've been playing it just fine on my Android. So yeah, pretty much anything that's got a screen on it.
Yeah, I played it on the iPhone. Yep.
Did you say you have a stretch goal of making it into a mobile application as well?
Yep, tablet, cell phone, computer, we have it all there. We do have a stretch goal as well as making it into a mobile app, so people could download it at the App Store if that stretch goal is met.
Yeah, so that sounds great. That sounds awesome. So yeah, we'll make sure we leave everything in the show notes. Oh, I was gonna say, so you probably can't play it on a flip phone then, can you?
I don't know. I haven't tried it, actually. It might work.
Without a touch screen, I guess it'd be a little slow going.
Or one of the dumb phones, I mean.
Yeah, no internet connection, no game.
There you go. Cool. So yeah, it looks like a pretty cool game and whatnot. Will there be any other online reviews or any YouTubers coming up during the campaign that you know of?
We're open and available if anyone wants to review or interview us. But no one.
Well, there you go. You heard it here. Will this be your first podcast, or will this be the only podcast? Do you have other podcasts lined up as well?
I don't think so. We will be looking for some, but we're trying to keep our eyes not bigger than our stomach, pretty much. So we don't want to go too far. We want to be able to manage our own expectations, as well as ensuring that we can provide a quality product to everyone out there. And we have most of that all lined up. We've talked to our manufacturers, we've talked to our logistical companies, and we've run the numbers, and we definitely think we can do it. All we need now is the support of everybody else. So we will now be focusing our attention on fine-tuning our campaign page and reaching out to potential other news outlets like bloggers and so on and so forth.
Okay, cool. And so I guess, because you said there wasn't any podcast coming up, so I guess I can typically say, depending on when this airs or whatnot, that you heard it here first on Getting Geeky with Gamer Leaf, at least in terms of podcasts. Is that right?
True. Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, there you go. So yeah, you heard it here first on Getting Geeky with Gamer Leaf. And I want to say one of you, I don't know who it was, but said that if anybody's interested to contact you, is that correct?
Yeah, you can contact any of us. We should have all of our email addresses on our website, hermeticatothegame.com/contact. And there's a little about us section, and feel free to shoot us an email or contact us on social media.
There you go. Cool beans. So I don't know if you've listened to any of the podcasts previously, but the next section of the podcast is called The Adventures in Application Acquisition, where we talk about an application, be it for the cell phone, for the tablet, or a computer, or even a video game. It doesn't even necessarily have to be related to chess or board games in general. A while back ago, we had somebody who had an application on their phone where you can take a picture of anything and it'll tell you whether or not it's a hot dog.
Wasn't that from Silicon Valley? I think I saw that. Or the hot dog app.
Is there an application that you guys like that we can talk about for a moment? Or if each of you have an application, maybe we can talk about for a second?
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm not sure where the app came from. I had interviewed Jen, who was she worked with Side Effects. They made a game Side Effects that was on Kickstarter a while back ago. They're with Pillbox Games, and she's the one that brought that application up on the podcast.
So yeah, I guess should I just my favorite or my app? Are we each going to do our own app, or are we going to all come together and pick one?
Sure, hope it exists. That'd come in handy.
Okay. Sure. So for me, I guess, I mean, the app I've been playing around with a lot recently is Coinbase, a cryptocurrency application. With all the hype of Bitcoin and Litecoin and Dogecoin and Ethereum and so on and so forth. I've been on that a handful of times, keeping tabs on my small investments into cryptocurrency. And I guess the thing I would want to improve about that, or if I could change anything about it, would be adding like a news update feature to it. So being able to see any current event news articles about cryptocurrency to kind of give more of the reasoning or emotions behind why the numbers are going up or down in the stock market.
Okay, you talked about cryptocurrency or Bitcoin, I think. Can they use Bitcoin or cryptocurrency to back Hermetica, the board game, on Kickstarter?
That's a good question.
I don't know if Kickstarter allows it. Maybe.
I don't think they allow it. Maybe after the fact. We have to do a lot of research, but it seems like there could be a lot of hurdles to get that operational. I could be wrong, though.
There's your next project.
Yeah.
All right, I guess I'll do my app next. I've been playing around actually with the Kickstarter app because of setting up my first Kickstarter page, and I really enjoy the app. It's really easy to use, and I can view projects that I'm looking at backing, obviously, and ones that are out there. But one thing that I found was like a big flaw that I don't know if I'm just like can't find it or what the deal is, but you can't view your own project that you're making. So I feel like that's a big flaw that if they could update would be really useful.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Like, you can just look at the other ones, yeah.
Yeah, it'd be really nice to see the one that I'm working on right now and be able to tweak on my phone, but I guess they didn't want that to be.
Well, there you go. So if anybody from the Kickstarter team, we hope to make a green podcast so people can go back and listen and whatnot. So if anybody from Kickstarter is listening, that's the one thing you can do to make your application a little bit better.
Yes, please.
And last but not least.
Yeah. Well, the app that comes to mind at the moment, because I use it all the time, is called Vorpix, VORPX. It's actually sort of a intermediate between Rocket League and my Oculus VR hat. So turns out Rocket League is a game that I like very much, and having an application that lets me interface with 3D virtual reality head tracking is always a great improvement. It's pretty awesome. I wish that I could not get forced into updates at the middle of the night when I didn't see them coming and that sort of deal, but hard to complain too much.
Pretty solid app.
And are these, I know Kickstarter for sure is a free application. What about the other two? Are they free or are they cost?
Yep, Vorpix is at cost, something around typical package for a CD. I'm not sure what it is these days.
And Coinbase is free. It's free to download, but obviously if you want to invest in, stock or Bitcoin or whatever, you have to pay for it then. I know, right?
Well, there you go. Cool. So yeah, that's awesome. So we'll have to do, so check out those applications. We'll try to leave links in the show notes for everything we talked about and whatnot. So Manos coming there to you guys' hometown to stalk you. How would people go about finding out about you guys or your game Hermetica or upcoming projects and whatnot?
That's a good question. Um. Well, so yeah, we have our Facebook page, Hermetica the game, as well as our Instagram account and our Twitter account. That's probably the best way to keep in touch with what's going on in our lives. Yeah. Kickstarter campaign as well this Tuesday, January 9th. And I guess also we are in the Colorado and Atlanta area, so throughout our campaign we might get creative and try to do some kind of live demo somewhere and see if there's a interest for local gamers to come by.
Well, there you go. You heard it here first on Getting Geeky with Gamer Leaf. Well, we want to keep you all guys all night, but we really wanted to give you our thanks and appreciation for coming on Getting Geeky with Gamer Leaf. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, thanks for your time.
Absolutely. Thank you.
No problem. This has been Getting Geeky with Gamer Leaf. Make sure you subscribe or give us a review or let your friend give us a review. You can tell them what to type. That way you save your beautiful fingers. Anyways, get geeky, stay geeky, or bring others into the geek fold. And we will catch you all on the, you guessed it, flip side. Getting Geeky with Gamer Leaf. Gamer Leaf out.
Gamer Leaf levels up. Tune in next week to see if Gamer Leaf's luck holds up.